Well, good morning and welcome here to Thursday Thoughts. This is our September 18th edition. This is something I do every Thursday and trying to make it as informative and useful for you as I can. My name's Chris Takis. I'm the dog trainer at Takis In-Home Dog Training, and I'm a force-free dog trainer. I come to the home. I do not use fear or pain, never have, never will. And I want to make this show always be something that's for you. So please, by all means, if you're catching it while I'm live here, go ahead and shoot me a comment or a question. I'll try to answer while I'm here. But even after the fact, if you come up with something and you want me to try and answer your questions, you can leave as a comment to this, or you can even go ahead and go to YouTube and then catch it there, or ask me, go ahead, because I'll be posting it over there, and then just go ahead and leave some comments there and I'll catch you there as well. Today, excuse me, I also want to talk about one of the other programs. It's almost like a sub-program that I provide, and that's child training. I work with a lot of families with kids of varying ages, and a lot of times, rightfully so, that's a big concern when you have a dog in the home. And so a lot of times what folks will fall into is they will obviously be concerned with the dog. And they almost don't think about the child side of things, okay? And so what I try to create in the process that I use very well is that we create a partnership between both the child and the dog. So starting with the child, I tell everyone to start with, I would never leave any child alone with a dog if they are 10 years of age or younger, okay? When doesn't make the dog bad, doesn't make the child bad. But when children from 10 or younger are left alone with a dog of any size, any age, sometimes the fit is bad and we get a bad result. And again, it's just them being themselves. So that always requires very close management. I've found that when you get into preteen, 11, 12, 13, teenager and adult, you can provide instruction for people at that age and they pretty much get it and they can function well with the dog. Now, starting with the child and the dog together, I encourage people to do this, excuse me again, in environments that are pretty neutral, okay? So not a lot of food, not a lot of toys out, things that can cause that indifference, especially if you have small children. They tend to walk around with things and just kind of drop them and go back and get them later or whatever. And the dog can kind of reach out and want to say, hey, that looks like that's for me, or that's for me. And so even if you have small children and we have dog toys and child toys, in that environment, you at least want to keep them in the same spaces. Remember, dogs want a life that's predictable, so they're constantly watching for routines and patterns. And they will eventually, my dogs do that when we've had kids here, is that they realize my toys, their toys. And there's not really a lot of crossover. It's a lot of work, especially if you have a very active small child, but you just try to keep up with it and keep that separation. That keeps everybody safe. So good management, neutral environments. When it comes to food, depending on the dexterity of your child, I tell everybody, until they're about 7 or 8, I wouldn't let a child walk around with food, okay? Again, they tend to just kind of drop things. Child drops some food that they have and they just want to go back and get it. Dog finds it as a high value item. They arrive at the same time. Potentially the dog wants to resource guard it. We get a bite incident, okay? So keep small children seated while eating, all the way through eating. And then you just work that from there. Now, starting with them individually, looking at the child. What you don't want to do is only go to the child and say, okay, here's what you can't do. You can't stare the dog dead in the eye for a long time. Don't run fast nearby. Don't hang on them. Don't pull ears. Excuse me. Don't do a lot of bumping around and things like that. But don't have, the only instruction you provide for your child is don't, and don't. Because all of us, especially as adults, at what age did we, probably by age 2 or 3, we already started with mom and dad, okay. And we're just kind of tuning them out already. Make the child aware of what not to do, but what I encourage people to do that also works well is to incentivize the behaviors we do want. So if we tell the child, okay, if you act like this, nice and calm, or you act like this way or in this way that you find acceptable with your dog, and they do that, then we need to let them know you'll get this reward. And if they do act that way, we better be sure to provide the reward. Otherwise, there's no validity. So I find that to go much better if we incentivize the behaviors we do want with children with dogs and then reward the children when they provide those behaviors. On the other side, anytime the dog is doing well with the child. And that doesn't just mean play. It can mean you're just sitting there as a family watching TV and the children are calm, the dog is calm. Reward everybody. They know they're in the same space together. And eventually even the dog starts to say, well, hey, wait a minute. I might want to act this way when the child's around because there's always reward there that I can count on. And so you start to create that partnership between them where they start to act well together because basically both sides have a part to play in the game. Now, that also means we don't want robots for dogs. We don't want robots for children. And so if children are having a child moment, they're being quite active, and that's not a place where your dog is right now, then we just simply put the dog away, okay? And again, it doesn't make the dog a bad dog. It doesn't make the children bad. But right now, that scenario is not a good fit, so we need to act in a very responsible and most importantly, a safe fashion. That's where you want to work to create a safe place, basically a man cave or girl cave for your dog. And I'll probably talk about that in another Thursday Thoughts about how to create that space for them. Now, what we also want to be aware of with children and with dogs is that you want to look at fatigue. A lot of times it can be late at night when bites might happen and things like that. And it's because the children are tired, we're tired, the dog's tired. Again, kind of being aware of the children and the players you're dealing with here. And if it's something that it's like, I can't watch this right now, even for yourself, it's overwhelming, give everybody a break. Okay, again, just kind of put them in safe spaces where everybody can do well and be successful together. So that's a program that's very popular that I provide, is just child training. And again, being able to create those effective and safe partnerships with the dog and the child. So over the years, they will grow up and have a great time together. Now, one other thing that I've been adding to the Thursday Thoughts is a Did You Know part. And for Did You Know today, that people say, well, dogs are colorblind. Dogs are flat out colorblind, can't see. Well, that's true to a point. If you look at the human color spectrum, ours is evenly divided. We all know the saying VIBGYOR, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. If you look it up on the web, you look at the human color spectrum. If you look at a dog's color spectrum, you're going to see a whole bunch of blue and a whole bunch of yellow, and all the other colors the dog can see are all stuffed together in a spot about that big. So their color spectrum is heavily dominated by blue and by yellow. Actually, that's part of what I work with in my puppy kindergarten program, is I will get to a point where, Lori, how are you doing? Stephanie, all right. So we got a few other folks, and my wife, Shar, is watching as well. So how you doing, everybody? Thank you for watching. But in my puppy kindergarten program, I will teach them to come to a blue card and a yellow card. And eventually you'll be able to present both to the puppy, and they are able to reason through which one. You'll be able to say blue, and they'll go to the blue one. You say yellow, they'll go to the yellow one. So it's something that is taking the touch cue, which is just targeting, it's a form of recall and redirection, and turning it into a reasoning type activity. So it's something fun you can do with your dogs. And so that's my Did You Know today about as far as their color spectrum. So I thank the folks that are watching here, and I appreciate the support. I appreciate everybody that I get an opportunity to work with. And again, if you've got questions, you can even leave them in the comments here, or when I post this to YouTube, if you want to leave comments there, I'll catch you there as well, okay? So in the meantime, between now and next Thursday, any other questions you have, I'll be happy to address and answer those next Thursday. So with that, I will let you go, and I hope you folks have a great rest of your day and have a great life with your dogs. Bye-bye.